Okay, got through it. So this arrangement that I did, it's a little bit of a guess. There's no live versions that I could find so far. So, you know, I'm just going off of the recording. There's multiple guitars in the recording, possibly in multiple tunings and situations. So this is sort of my best approximation of like the sort of main guitar, but I'm sure it's not exact. Tuning wise, it's like Dadgad, but without I didn't bring the low E down to D. So like without your capo, it's E, A, D, G, A. So bring the B string down to A, D. So bring the E string down to D. Okay, so standard tuning except the B and the E strings, the top two strings, bring them each down a whole step to A and D. And then capo at the 7th fret. Okay. So that very beginning, the intro, and also so she plays a lot with this part may be finger picked, but with finger picks on. So what I'm doing with my right hand picking it is definitely not exactly what she's probably doing. Probably, again, this is all kind of a guess, but you know, so probably using finger picks and doing a whole finger picking pattern. But so I'm sort of making up a version that sounds a lot like it. Okay, so the very intro is like this. Take your first finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the G string, of the 3rd string, and it's this pattern of G, B, E, G, B, E, G, B, E, G, B, E. You should figure out a way of picking that works for you. I think I'm doing down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. You know, it doesn't really matter for how long you do that. It's this weird rhythmic feeling thing because it's a pattern of 3, but it's in 4/4. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. And it's actually 6 bars I counted until the vocal comes in. So it's like 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7. Been coming through. So it's like 6 bars of just that, and then on the 7th bar is when it's been. It's where the vocal comes in. Okay, so the verse. The first chord of the verse is this. Keep your first finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and add your 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the D. This is obviously all in relation to the capo. And you're just gonna have those top 4 strings. It's gonna give you this chord. And the picking pattern that I was doing, that's what I hear on there, is like this. It's like, I'll do string numbers and string names. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. D, G, B, E, G, B, G, D, G, B, E, G, E, G, E. Again, if you're using your fingers, I think probably this is being played with fingers with finger picks on them, and it's like thumb, index, middle, ring, index, ring, index, ring. And you can also do that with your fingers. Or you could do some other, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. I eventually landed on doing it with my pick. I found that easiest and sounding most like it. So D, G, B, E, G, E, G, E. Okay, 2nd chord, kind of a weird fingering to get into. This is what I did. I think it sounds right. First finger stays on the 2nd fret, second finger now on the 2nd fret of the D, and then the same exact picking pattern. D, G, B, E, G, B, G, B. So those first 2 bars become. You know, I guess you could do it like that. Sometimes I hear this, I don't know, there might be something else in there, but that sounds like it to me. So you go from being on the 4th fret of the D and the 2nd fret of the G to being on the 2nd fret of the D and the 2nd fret of the G. Those are the first 2 measures of the verse. Next one. This is a pretty chord. First finger still on the second fret of the G. Now third finger on the fourth fret of the A. Now the picking pattern that I did was A, D, G, B, wait, something like that. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 1, 4, 2. Again, with this kind of weird fingering, first finger stays on the second fret of the G, second finger moves to the second fret on the A. Then maybe the same-ish picking pattern, maybe a little different. A, D, G, B, A, E, D, B, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 1, 4, 2. That's the verse progression. One thing I guess I would say, or that's the main verse progression that repeats. One thing I would say with this picking pattern is like, you could also mess around with it, like. You know what I mean? It's like if you just keep your pick moving, it's gonna sound something like it because it's a picky part with these chord shapes. Okay. It repeats that 3 times, and then it goes to 2 bars of, it's like this chord, which sometimes with this like suspended. I'll show you this first. First finger barring the second fret on the D, the G. That's the important part. Third finger on the fourth fret of the B. These four strings, the A, the D, the G, and the B. So you get this. Sometimes I hear this note, which could also be the open high note. So like when I played it, sometimes I started with the pinky on the 5th fret of the B, and then resolve it. So after it's done this progression 3 times, so here's second time, third time. Now after the third time, right? So that is the last 2 bars of the verse. You could just do this. And the picking pattern there, I kind of like loosened it up. I'm just picking around in there. All right, the chorus. So again, I have a lot of doubts that this is exactly right, but it's very close. And like I said, there's multiple guitars, so it's hard to tell who's possibly doing what. First chord, it's like a G chord. First finger on the second fret of the A, second finger on the third fret of the low E. The picking pattern I'm doing in the chorus that sounds about right to me is sort of like 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, something like that. So, E, D, G, B, G, D, G, something like that. So there's your first chord. Your second chord now. Move to the first finger on the second fret of the low E string. And do that same picking pattern. 6, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3. And then this. Now your first finger moves from the second fret on the low E to the second fret on the A. And now when it's on for 2 bars. So it's 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 1, 2, 3. Come together for a moment. Then it's on this for 2 bars, back to that first chord, that G one. And then you're back to the A, this chord that we ended the verse with. So with the first finger barring the second fret on the D and the G, the third finger grabbing the fourth fret on the B, maybe notice sometimes you could have that little sus moment with your pinky. And now it's going to repeat that. And then the second time, it goes back to this for 2 bars, but doesn't go to this, so it just goes back to this. Right? I'll do a slow version of the chorus. This G, this one for 2 bars. Back to this for 2 bars. Now the A for 2 bars. This one. Back to this one. 2 bars on this. And that's the end of the chorus. The end of the first chorus goes right back into... Okay, so the first chorus goes straight back into the verse. So it's like, on your sweater. Right? Then there's the second chorus, and then the end of the second chorus goes into the flute solo, which is just like a verse, but it has a little variation at the end. So here's the variation for the flute solo. The flute solo is again 3 times through this progression, right? And then at the end of the 3 times, though, instead of going to this, it goes to this chord that we know from the, it's like this G-ish one from the chorus, first finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the E. It's for that for 2 bars. Then the A for 4 bars. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and then the hold for 2 more bars. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. No reason to believe, right? Okay. So then the last chorus is a double chorus. Which means it goes back to the A in order to loop the chorus. It's just like, and you can figure it out. It's like a looped chorus that's twice as long. Reason to believe, no reason at all. Together. So this would be the end of the chorus, but it goes back. There's no reason to believe. And then there's sort of another chorus where it's just the backing vocals come together, right? Like a flash on your sweater. Now this time, it gets to this, and instead of going, this is where it would normally, this is like the end of the chorus, where the other 2 times it goes back to the verse or the flute solo. And this time it goes into like the outro, which this is a part that especially made me question whether this tuning is exactly right, but this is pretty close to what it sounds like. So this first chord, it's like a C add 9, if you know that chord. First finger on the 2nd fret of the D, 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the A, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B. Strum everything except the low E string. And kind of now you're out of that picking thing and into this kind of like strumming, you know. For 4 bars, and then that chord. First finger on the 2nd fret of the A, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E. And that for 4 bars. So you can kind of strum it. It's going to repeat this 4 times basically. The 3rd time you kind of hear this other note. So what I did there is I picked up my first finger and my 3rd finger. I had the first finger take over. So the 3rd finger had been on the 3rd fret of the B. I had my first finger take over the 2nd fret of the B. And with all these, you can give them a little vibrato, especially that one. variation that happens sometimes in the chorus that I was trying to do is sometimes you hear these other notes. I tried to grab some of them. So like sometimes when you're on this G, the first chord of the chorus, I'm picking up my first finger from the second fret of the A and going to the second fret on the B. And then sometimes I heard that note. Again, this is one of these things that makes me question whether there's another tuning at play here, but I grabbed my third finger grabbing the fourth fret on the D. Something like that. You can play around with it, especially with that note, the second fret on the B. You know, there's some stuff in there. Okay, so thank you. Okay, wait. All right, I hope that all made sense. There will be a chart, a tab of some kind available at my Patreon page, the link in the description. We'll all stay tuned for when we can see this played live at some point maybe and figure out how close I was and where I'm wrong. But let me know any questions or comments or requests. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.